Hey guys, it's Ava, and today's tutorial I'm going to be turning into a vampire because it's part of my Halloween series. This is the third video in that series, so I'm going to start by gluing down my eyebrows. You start that by combing in the opposite direction and then coating the entire eyebrow hairs in glue. I'm using the Elmer's Disappearing Purple Glue Stick, and I'm using a little brush to get the glue all over the hairs. I want it on the front and the back of the hairs. So what you do is you do a mixture of going against the grain and then with the grain. And what that will do is make sure the hairs are fully coated in glue, and then once that's done you flatten it completely down. You can use a spoon if you want, I don't, and then make sure it's dry. You could use a hairdryer for this step, but I don't. And then you put powder over that. The powder lets you see if there's any bad texture, which you will need to then glue over that again. As you can see there, I need to put more glue on, so I dust off what's left of that powder and then I just go over the top with glue again. I try not to go against the grain because that would ruin the work we've done underneath, and then once that's dry, more powder, and you can usually tell once the eyebrows are pretty much invisible, that's a good enough coverage for you to then start putting makeup on. So before the makeup, I put a primer on. I'm going to use W7's Prime the Face Primer, and I just put that anywhere the makeup is going to be touching my skin, so it acts as a barrier. And then for the base, I actually start with a contour colour because I'm going to be cleaning this up with the lighter colours afterwards. So I put the contour wherever I'm going to put that, which is my jaw, chin, nose, cheeks and forehead. The reason I do this is so then I can put the light colours on like this. I put this in all the highlight areas. What this does is, this means that there's no makeup underneath the highlight colour, which means that it won't blend with any colour that's underneath it, which means the white stays a pure white, which is what I want. I then merge the two colours by using the Krylon paint stick in 1W, and I kind of marry the two colours. See, what this does is it also stops me wasting makeup by putting a whole base on and then the colours on top of the base. Instead, I just put the colours where I need them to be. And then I blend this all out, blend it all into itself, but I also try to keep everything in its separate areas because I don't want to lose my strategic placement where I've contoured and highlighted. Once that's all blended, I will then add more white because this is quite a vampy look and I like having a lot of highlighter anyway. So I put more white on underneath my eye and on my nose, above my lips and on my chin. Don't forget also to put makeup on the neck and just blend it all with whatever's left on the sponge or brush or whatever you're using. I then set this with powder. I just used the same powder as always, but I don't use that much of it because I want to make sure I'm actually pale this time around. So I use a little bit of that, and then I use the collection powder in Ivory, and I place that in primarily all of the highlight areas, but then also just generally all over the face, and that will lift my entire face a couple of shades and also make the cream contours look a bit more natural and such. I like to put a lot of powder under the eyes because I like that to be the brightest area of my face, and then what I do is I dust off all of the excess everywhere except under the eyes because I want that powder to kind of sit and bake there for a while. And then using the H&M bronzing powder in dark tan, I reinforce the contour, but this time with powder, and this is what lets it be visible. So with this I'm whistling down my jaw. This is a drag technique that I use just to make my jaw look more feminine. I do the same to my chin, and anywhere you'll kind of want the bones to look like they're receding. So this is the cheekbones, the forehead, the nose. I try not to do too much on the cheekbones because I feel like it looks aging and masculating, but at the same time I want to look like a fierce vampire, so I do angle it quite far down and want to look quite like fiercely boned. Also make sure to blend it upwards so it's not just a harsh brown line. Here I am putting it on the sides of my nose just to make the nose bridge look narrower, and a little bit under the eyes because I'm going to be putting shadow there so my eyes look all nice and dark. Using a brush, I blend them all together so that, again, the contour doesn't look too harsh on my face. Using a white powder, I put this under the eyes and put this on the areas that I want to come forward the most. So that would be the cheekbones and the chin, but mostly the cheekbones. I like under my eyes and cheeks to be the whitest area of my face. I want this to kind of, it draws the eye to the middle of the face. I will dust this away from everywhere except under the eyes because I'm going to let that sit there and then catch any eyeshadow that falls out. The eyes, I take a pencil in a soft berry colour and I'm going to draw on the crease. I draw on a whole new eyelid because then it makes the general eye area look much bigger. So this is like a faux crease. But as you can see, I'm angling it up very high so it almost looks like an eyebrow, but bear with me, this will make sense once I'm done. It's going to just look like a huge eye. Once I've got the crease sorted, I then suggest where the eyeliner is going to go. I do this all with this kind of nude pencil colour because then it means it's easy to add to and take away from rather than working with something like, say, a pure black. Once I have the kind of general idea of where I want my eye makeup to be, I will then do the same on the other eye. Using a Scandaleyes eyeshadow stick, I will then put white where the crease is. Wait, it's actually, if you look, it's not actually my eye crease, it's above my eye crease, but this is where we are suggesting the crease to be, and it will all make sense once it's done. But you kind of just put this under the cut crease you drew on. This will help further suggest that what you drew on above that is the fold of an eyelid. I take a little brush with the contour powder that I used and I just kind of blend out the crease a little bit and sharpen it up and just tidy it up. I also use that colour and bring it down onto the nose a little bit. This step is contouring the nose. This makes the nose look narrower by bringing the shadow in so the bridge of your nose looks much narrower. I will then also afterwards put a thin white line down the middle to suggest a highlight. Now I'm taking that same contour powder and just going under my eyes, so under my eyes looks kind of darker and that suits that vampy kind of look. I'm going for kind of a grungy, kind of sleepy looking eye with this. I take an Urban Decay shadow and I'm using one of the pink purple shades, it's probably jilted knowing me, and I put that all over the crease and then blend it upwards. Here I am taking the eyeshadow and blending it up into the eyebrow, which is now covered so it's not really an eyebrow. And I'm also putting this under the eyes just so there's a good relationship between the whole eye makeup. You can see that the top matches the bottom kind of thing. And I also put it underneath the eyeliner because I want to give the illusion that the eyeliner is actually the whole shape of my eye. So anywhere I would put underneath my eye, I will also take it under the eyeliner. And now you can see that has a nice kind of almost ill look to it. I blend this all out with a little brush. And again, I will just clean up any of that eyeshadow with the white pencil thing. I also remember try not to be too rough on this texture of the glued down eyebrows, because if you do go too rough on it, you can actually disturb the glue and your eyebrows will show through, and you don't want that. Like, it's hard enough to get them to glue down and look good as it is, so you don't want to be ruining that by putting makeup on top. So here I am just kind of cleaning up the shape of the crease because I'm still not sure what I want. And then using that same product, I then suggest a brow bone using a white that suggests the highlight area of where an eyebrow is sticking out. I then set that with a white eyeshadow. Using that same white eyeshadow, I'll go down the centre of the nose, and this is to suggest a highlighted nose. It's kind of like that exclamation point that everyone does, but not quite. I use a felt tip liner to draw on the wing, I use kind of a cheap one because I know I'm going to be using a lot of it because the wing is about 4 times the size of a normal person's eyeliner. So what I do is I will just bring that down, draw it like a triangle shape to suggest the flick of the wing, and just bring that onto my actual eyelid. Some people call it like a mobile lid, some people call it just a real eyelid, whatever. At this point I will also draw on the extended inner flicks. That gives your eyes a really feline shape, and I feel like that is especially helpful for this kind of vampy, witchy look. It also helps make sense with the crazy crease shape, and you kind of want to just draw the two together so it just looks like one big long diagonal line going over your eye. If you have to draw over the top of your actual eyelid, that's better, because then it means the eye makeup will look the same whether your eyes are open or closed, and that's what we want. What I'm doing here is I'm drawing on a little lower flick. This suggests heavy eyelashes when your eyelashes are so thick that they're casting a shadow onto your lower eye, and it also kind of just adds more detail and interest to the bottom of the eye. And again, using the black eyeliner, I will then draw right on the edge of the crease just to make it look very present and more there. It might not be the most realistic thing, but it's definitely more like graphic and interesting, which is kind of what I'm interested in. I then use a more intense eyeliner. This one's by L'Oreal, and I do all the details with this because this one's really sharp and really liquidy. I go into like the end of the flick and the inner flicks and anywhere that I want to be even like blacker. I'm not going to waste this on the whole lid though because it's more expensive. I don't want to be wasting expensive products on something that you can achieve the same look with just a normal black. Now I'm going to draw eyebrows on. This is going to go above the eyebrow highlight we drew on before, but doesn't have to adhere to that shape. So basically what I'm doing here is you kind of imagine a normal eyebrow and then tilt it up about 45 degrees. So it looks like I'm almost drawing the first line is vertical, and then most people imagine the flick of their eyebrow to be a flick that comes down. Instead you draw that just horizontal. And from a distance what that will do is it will look like an eyebrow when the whole look is together and makes sense, but when you're drawing it, it does feel a bit crazy because you're drawing literally halfway up your forehead, but it does all make sense because the whole point of this is to play with proportions. So imagine you've just like selected the whole eye area and just enlarged it like twice. That's what I'm doing here. Again, I'm using the soft berry pencil because it's an easy colour to work with and erase and whatnot. So I like my eyebrows to come in quite close together because I feel like that helps with the eye shape, helps with your nose shape, and it helps you just kind of look a bit mean and fierce, and that's what I kind of want to go for with this. So once I've got an eyebrow shape down, I'll draw the same on the other one. I'm also making sure not to go too thick because I kind of want that gothic eyebrow, which is like a very graphic thin line, but it's about the same as I can make it. You also want the eyebrows to look very present because we've done such a dramatic cut crease. Some people might mistake the cut crease as an eyebrow. I've had that before. So I draw this to be like, no, look, this is the eyebrow. Normally I do an ombre brow, which is where you have them gradiate so that the middle looks like it comes out from nothing, and it kind of gives the effect of like sporadic hairs or something. But again, I'm doing kind of a graphic gothic eyebrow, so I'm making them start quite harsh, using the texture of my real eyebrows slightly underneath to help out a little bit. And then what I do is I take the white cream, or it could be a white eyeshadow, and then I just clean up the shape of underneath the eyebrow, and just look how much cleaner that makes it. It makes the eyebrows just look so much more like professional. Also, it doesn't matter if this white goes over the eyeshadow work you've done before, because again, we'll just put more pink on top of that and sort that out. See, just like that. And now that I've got the eyebrow shape down, I'm going to make them black because I want them to really stand out, and I'm going to be wearing black hair. This is just going to make sense with the whole look. So I take a black felt liner and start off at the outer flick, make that as sharp as I can, and then I will just draw on the whole eyebrow shape. You definitely want to take your time with this because eyebrows are the kind of thing, like if they go wrong, they can really fuck up your whole face. See, normally I hate eyebrows that just start so blunt like that, but if you do the rest of the makeup to kind of match and make it look like you're doing this on purpose, it will translate as a good choice. Finally, I'm dusting off all that excess powder that was underneath the eyes. That will, of course, any eyeshadow that fell out and just stop me looking like I've got too much powder on. And since this brush is going to have powder left over onto it, I'm going to adjust that slightly in the middle of the eyebrows so there is still a slight ombre effect, but not too much. Now for the lips. I start overdrawing my lips because I want nice big plump lips. I'm using that same lip liner as always, and I'm just drawing on a shape. Once I've got a shape I'm happy with, I will then fill it in with lipstick. I like a big lip, especially a big bottom lip, because then I feel like it balances out the shape of my chin, because I personally think I've got a very big boxy chin, so a bigger bottom lip helps the proportions from a distance just make more sense, and it also helps with these big eyes. So I'm taking the Primark lipstick in shade Kylie, because I thought it looked like a very nice vampy kind of bloody purple red. However, this is a awful shit product, and you can just see it's very dry, very streaky, it's just not that good. So I do wrestle with it a little bit, but I do end up with a satisfying result by the end of it. Okay, there it is done, but you can see I'm still not quite happy with that, especially because you overdrew the lips. You want a product that gives you full matte coverage. The other reason I use matte is because it's overdrawn. I want it to look matte and not glossy, because if there's a shine, it will give away my real lip shape underneath, and obviously mine are overdrew to about 3 times the size of my real lips, so that's why we use a matte product. You concentrate the darkness on the outside as well. And after the lips are done, I then draw on my signature beauty marks, which are just beauty marks that everyone puts everywhere. I think I missed one out though because I didn't think a burlesque beauty mark would suit the vampire look. And that's the makeup look done. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this look. And if you attempt this look, let me know.